Why hasn't he written? Why did Jungkook delete that photo? Why does Taehyung look worried even when he smiles? These questions have haunted ARMY forums and social media platforms for weeks, growing louder as silence looms larger. Something isn't right. The clues are subtle, scattered in fleeting glimpses and cryptic posts, but their message feels unmistakable. Park Jimin, the heart of BTS, is not okay's mandatory military service, envelopes the final trio of BTS members, Jimin, Taehyung, and Jungkook. Fans have watched closely, hoping to catch even the smallest signs of joy or normalcy. But recently, attention has narrowed with growing concern on Jimin's condition. What began as whispers about his weight loss and distant gaze has escalated into full-blown worry. Now more than ever, ARMY is asking the painful question: is Jimin's health being quietly sacrificed behind the high walls of military training camps? The silent cry, clues that sparked a storm. It started with something that wasn't there: absence. Unlike his usual bubbly presence, Jimin had been unusually quiet during the joint enlistment send-off, offering a few smiles but none of the familiar energy fans associate with him. While Taehyung joked and Jungkook grinned nervously, Jimin seemed elsewhere. Days later, a blurry group photo taken by a fellow recruit made its way online. Jimin stood in the back, thinner than usual, his cheeks hollow, his stance slightly hunched. Within minutes, #ProtectJimin trended globally. Was it just the rigors of training? Or was there something more? Shortly after, a carefully worded message was posted on Weverse from the official BTS account. It thanked fans for their continued support and reminded everyone that the members were doing well. But it felt oddly impersonal. Missing were the typical handwritten notes from the boys themselves. The fandom noticed. And then came the surprise that made things undeniable. Jungkook archived several photos on Instagram that had included moments with Jimin, behind-the-scenes smiles, gym selfies, and playful banter clips. The move felt like shielding, as if trying to quietly pull a curtain over something painful. A week later, Taehyung was spotted at a military event. Dressed in uniform, he appeared calm, until a fan-captured video showed him wiping away a tear as he walked away from the crowd. That clip, now viewed over 10 million times, shattered hearts and confirmed what many feared. Something serious was going on. "I'm just tired." A glimpse of Jimin's mental and physical toll. A former military recruit, who allegedly trained at the same base, came forward anonymously to a Korean entertainment blog, stating, "He tries so hard. He runs longer than anyone. Push-ups till he collapses. It's like he's trying to prove something to himself, maybe. But I've seen him sit in silence after, shaking, eyes closed like he's barely holding on." According to the source, Jimin refused to skip physical drills even when permitted. During particularly grueling exercises, he was seen helping other trainees but often refused help himself. "There's a name they whispered around camp, the angel who bleeds." This image of Jimin, a performer once celebrated for his grace, his emotional expressiveness, and his tender connection with fans, now pushing his body to its limits in silence, has cast a long shadow over the fandom. What could be driving him? Theories abound. Some believe it's survivor's guilt, a lingering sense of burden from the group's hiatus, compounded by the pressure of public expectations. Others think he's punishing himself, internalizing the critiques he's faced throughout his career. But no matter the reason, one fact is inescapable: this level of physical and emotional strain isn't sustainable. Brothers in arms, Taehyung and Jungkook's deepening worry. Both Taehyung and Jungkook have shown subtle but clear signs of distress. According to reports from military personnel, Jungkook often checks in on Jimin during breaks. One account described him as hovering like a shadow, offering water, adjusting his gear. Witnesses have noted him becoming visibly anxious if Jimin doesn't respond immediately, and a private moment caught on a leaked recording, whose authenticity is still being debated, Jungkook is heard saying, "Hyung won't listen. He keeps going. It's like he thinks breaking is the goal." Whether real or not, the clip struck a chord with ARMY, echoing the unspoken fears in every fan's heart. Meanwhile, Taehyung, typically the embodiment of calm charisma, has taken on a watchful, almost parental role. Reports suggest he's had multiple quiet talks with commanding officers, subtly advocating for Jimin's well-being without drawing public attention. A fellow trainee described a moment where Taehyung gently took Jimin aside, placing a hand on his shoulder, speaking in hushed tones for several minutes. Jimin nodded, but his eyes didn't meet Taehyung's. It was like he was there, But not, the source recalled. The weight of legacy. Why this hurts more than ever. BTS is more than a global music phenomenon. They are cultural icons, emotional anchors for millions, and symbols of resilience. Their individual stories of overcoming adversity have inspired countless fans to do the same. And Jimin? He's long been seen as the group's emotional barometer. Sensitive, self-reflective, and generous to a fault. When he laughs, others relax. When he cries, the room holds its breath. The idea that Jimin could be silently unraveling, physically exhausted, emotionally burdened, and pushing himself beyond safety, cuts deep. More than that, it challenges the very image of military service in South Korea. For years, critics have highlighted the psychological toll on young men, particularly those used to creative environments. Jimin's situation may be exposing cracks in a system that prioritizes uniformity over individuality, even at the cost of mental health. The fans' response. A global plea for compassion. In response to the growing concern, armies have organized digital support campaigns, flooding social media with messages of love, strength, and reminders that health comes first. From Seoul to Sao Paulo, murals of Jimin have popped up with phrases like, "Come back stronger," "Not broken," and "Your light shines even in silence." Fans have also sent letters to military offices, respectfully urging them to ensure BTS members are treated with dignity and care. Psychologists have weighed in too. Dr. Lee Hannah, a South Korean trauma specialist, told SBS News, "When individuals with high emotional intelligence suppress their needs to meet expectations, it leads to burnout. In environments like the military, this is particularly dangerous." She added, "Jimin's sensitivity is his gift, but it must be protected, not exploited." What comes next? No official statement has confirmed any health issues. Big Hit Music remains quiet, likely respecting privacy and military protocols. But silence in the face of worry often speaks volumes. The next scheduled check-in with BTS members isn't expected until mid-year, which leaves fans with a long, anxious wait. But insiders suggest that adjustments are being quietly made behind the scenes. Whether those adjustments will be enough remains unknown, and perhaps that's what makes this moment so difficult. Not knowing. Not knowing if the next photo will show Jimin smiling again. Not knowing if Jungkook's silence is protection or helplessness. Not knowing if Taehyung's strength is masking a breaking heart. One final thought. Hope in the shadows. In one of Jimin's last public letters before enlistment, he wrote, "Even in the dark, if we remember each other, the light returns. Please wait for me like you always have. I'll be back better. I promise." It's that promise fans cling to. But maybe, just maybe, it's time we tell Jimin something too. You don't have to be better to be loved. You just have to be. Absolutely, let's keep going. The story doesn't end here. If anything, it deepens. Here's the continuation, expanding into a rich, emotional profile that weaves in fan voices, expert commentary, historical parallels, and an intimate psychological reflection on Jimin's journey through this shadowed chapter of his life. The Angel Who Bleeds. Unraveling the emotional core of Park Jimin. If you ask longtime armies when they first fell in love with Jimin, you'll hear different answers. Some will tell you it was his first solo stage, drenched in sweat and passion, when he leapt into the air like flight had always belonged to him. Others will point to interviews, moments when his voice trembled with sincerity as he spoke about never feeling good enough. But for most, the answer is simpler. It was the way he loved us first. Now, as whispers of overexertion and emotional withdrawal drift from the hidden walls of his military camp, fans are left questioning whether that same deep love is what's slowly hurting him.